Good morning, everyone. Myself Amit Kaprwan, TGT Social Science from KVIIP Mokampur, Dehradun. Today we are going to study second chapter of class 9th history, and it is Socialism in Europe and Russian Revolution. Let's see. The chapter begins with the age of social changes in Russia, inspired by French Revolution. As you know, once Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich said, "When France sneezes, rest of Europe catches cold." He was absolutely right actually. Revolution started in France, people became aware about their rights, and later on nearby countries were also inspired, and revolution started in Russia also. New ideas about individual rights and social changes began to be discussed in Europe and Asia. At the same time, responses to complete social changes varied in Europe, and in Russia, three different ideologies sprouted up. The first one is liberals, second, radicals, and third, conservatives. Let's see liberals. Liberals' ideology was as tolerance to religion, opposed uncontrolled power of dynastic rulers, safeguarded rights of individuals. They were not democrats as believed in voting rights to propertied men, opposed voting rights to women. The second ideology was radicals. The government based on majority of country's population. They opposed privileges of wealthy factory owners and landlords, disliked concentration of wealth in a few hands, supported women's suffragette movement. Now conservatives. Conservatives earlier opposed the idea of change, later accepted some changes, believed in preserving and respecting past, and wanted change but at a slow pace. Now, industrial society and social changes. It was the time when industrialization was taking place in Europe. New cities rose with the Industrial Revolution, and men, women, and children worked in the factories. Long working hours with low wages were there. Low demand led to unemployment. Actually, production was started in factories, but because of low wages, people were unable to purchase. Their purchasing power was very low. That's why demand was low and it led to the unemployment there. Rapidly growing towns faced housing and sanitation problems. Liberals and radicals rallied out these issues and wanted revolution. Let's see in this diagram Russian workers living in communal spaces adjacent to their factories in 1900. You can see in this diagram some of the people are sleeping on the floor and some of them are not having proper place to take rest. Most of the people are restless and living in a very poor condition. Now the coming of socialism to Europe. Socialism as an idea attracted attention in Europe by mid-19th century. It opposed private property and supported collective social interests. They had different vision of future. Some believed in setting up cooperatives through individual initiatives, while others wanted government to encourage cooperatives to replace capitalists. This gave birth to the idea of communist society. Actually, that time, a big difference was there in the living standard of the producers and the owners. Producers were working hard in the the factories and long working hours were there, and the benefit of the production was taken by the factory owners, and their living standard was very high. So people thought about the socialism there, and as we have seen, two ideas to establish cooperatives there, and such kind of ideas gave birth to the idea of communist society there. This, you can see, this picture belong to Berlin. After demolishing the wall of Berlin, you can see people are moving in both the places. Okay, and such kind of condition were there in Europe, and people started thinking about the rights of working class or laborers. Yes. Now, support for socialism. Spread of socialist ideas through Europe led to the formation Second International. Association of workers like Social Democratic Party and Labour Party began to be formed in England and Germany to improve working and living conditions. Funds too began to be raised to help member workers in difficult times. It was a new thinking actually. First time people thought about the member workers. Now, demand for reducing working hours and right to vote. It was one of the main demand, because before this people were just working in the factories. They never thought about the hard life, the hardship there, and the long working hours. And right to vote that time didn't matter for people. But now they were aware about their rights and they started demanding for reducing working hours and right to vote. Ideas of socialists did shape legislation, but they never succeeded in forming government in Europe. Conservatives, liberals, and radicals continued to form government there. So here socialists didn't get power, but three ideologies which we have talked about, conservatives, liberals, and radicals, they continued to form the government.